Hello and welcome to Big Talk, live from the nation's capital here in Abuja. My name is Edika Mike and a pleasure to have you join us tonight. Let's begin from news that came from Kaduna State yesterday politically as a group of governors from the All Progressive Congress met with the former President Muhammadu Buhari at his residence in Kaduna to seek his support for President Bola Tinubu's second term bid in 2027. They had a closed-door meeting which was led by Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, who also chairs the APC Governors Forum. According to information, some said that it was a gathering and a visit just in a courtesy and also a serious attempt to convince Buhari to back Tinubu once more as opposition figures begin to organize ahead of the next presidential election. They also share concern within the APC leadership about the growing influence of a new political front formed by the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, ex-Governor Nasir Rufai, and Peter Obi. These were some of those updates and information that came from Kaduna State yesterday. A whole lot the meeting had some way of sparking politics of the former president and calling on the president to back President Bola Tinubu for his second term. Re-election struggle has yet to begin. Everyone, yesterday the Nigeria police successfully commemorated its maiden National Police Day with a grand celebration that held at Eagle Square. Now, that event marked a significant milestone in recognizing the vital role of the police in ensuring national security and stability. The highlight of the event had a procession which showed a case about the professionalism and skills and the art. But the question that has degenerated from that yesterday, knowing fully well that there was a mass protest from Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt, just that same day when police were celebrating. Police had earlier warned that, can you please share this protest because it's just denting on the image of Nigeria, not just on the Nigeria police this time, but it's also affecting the image of Nigeria, where police have set out 7th day of April just to mark and recognize their contribution and efforts to the national development. You took to the street to protest. But that protest didn't end well, and tonight we'll be looking at what are the role of the police in respect to our current state of our security. Are we appreciating the police enough? What should we do if they say security is every man's business? What is the message? And now that the police had to celebrate yesterday, a lot of our things will, of course, unravel tonight. I'm being joined by Otumba Abolaji, Deputy Chief of Staff to the National Chairman of the Police Community Relations Committee. He's live here on the show to give us this discussion. Thanks so much, Otumba, for joining us on the program. It's been a while. A lot of persons may be having a concern about the state of the nation. Yesterday was a big day for the police. I know fully well that you were there participating at the event, but people are now saying, are police really working enough in Nigeria, owing to the fact that we are still having issues of kidnapping, we are still having issues of theft, vandalism of our public properties, lives of individuals are not still guaranteed. People are still struggling to protect themselves. So a whole lot of questions. And then this falls back to ask, is it really worth celebrating our Nigerian police?
Thank you very much, my moderator. I'm happy to be here again on a special day of this question of asking why the police should celebrate. Well, to start with, the National Police Day is a significant event recognized by the contributions and sacrifices of the police officers in maintaining law and order. The highlights of the importance of the National Police Day, I want to give that first. We're supposed to recognize the police service, the National Day, acknowledging their critical role of being policing officers and within the safety and security. We're supposed to appreciate them for the sacrifices, the honors they made to our officers, both alive and still in the service. We are supposed to be promoting the community and the engagement within the events in and out. So with this, I think we should know that celebration of police achievements, National Public Police Day celebrates the achievement and success of the preventing and combating the crimes. We all say we have the opportunity for reforms and improvement. The day provides an opportunity to reflect on the police reforms and the improvement, enlightening the areas of growth and development. Enhancing the police community relations by recognizing the importance of the police services. National Police Day helps to strengthen the police community relations and promote the inter-partnership within the members of the public and the safety. Inspiring the future generation of even other children unborn to join the police. If I should be mentioning the advantages of the police a lot, we will not go today, but the question is, what are the improvements on the police?
Are they working enough?
Are they working
to
enough
justify
to
all of those
justify
things that
what
you've
is-
actually
The
admitted?
answer is 100% and one, and I can give the reason. If you look at the numeration of the police, we thank God for the new system they have been using by employing the 10,000. We know how many years it takes them to pick up the 10,000 units that we said we should be going. By ratio, we're supposed to, American ratio or international ratio, we're supposed to be having 1 policeman to 100 person. But in Nigeria, we're having 1 policeman to 10,000 people.
You feel the numbers are not enough?
No, not enough. Now, the area of that is not for the community, it's for the government to see how do we match that up. And that is why probably in 1984, one of the police officers navigated and brought out what is called Police Community Relations Committee to give us the community, because in a community you discover that it's going to be only maybe 5 policemen to about 250 members in the market day and co, but we still respect them. Those days, respect is given to the police when they're always on their short knickers. But now, we don't have that respect because of the civilization and electronics, or fighting for your right, knowing your right. Now, the question you ask, that are they doing enough? The answer is yes, because sometimes you need to be closer to the police. You will appreciate them. Some people work 24 hours round the clock. Go to the barrack and ask their wives. Some people, they don't even see their wives. They don't see their husband for a good 1 week. While other people are in the house sleeping, snoring, and being happy, while they are outside. The only thing that I want to say is that let us appreciate the little they are doing. Now, we always say the police are not working, but there's never any person that has problem do not say, let us go to the police station. And out of the services, the agencies we have, the security services we have, police is the only one that has enumeration to the grassroots. Go to any village today, you will see 1 single policeman. Go to any station, you will see minimum of 2, 3, 4 policemen. And when you go yesterday, you will see what is happening. You appreciate. And this is where you can see what is happening. Before Godaman yesterday, that's the first time I'm seeing the strength of the police. But the only thing that we are underfunded. They are not properly taken care of. Look at the youths. Look at how beautiful they are. We don't appreciate. If it's abroad now, you will see a lot of commentation. I was expecting this morning, look at a human being dropping from the helicopter. This belongs to a person. Look at the fine matches they are doing. Everything was in order. And it was a standard way of this thing. So it's good for us to be always appreciating what we have. I want to give kudos to the IGP Kayode Adeolu Ogbetokun for this initiative. Most of us have birthdays, we have birthdays dates. You see every day on the platform. What stops us from having Police Day? To appreciate them even for once and see what they are doing. Because when his son does something very well, the father pampers and say, keep it up. But what I'm trying to say that the police are doing their best because of the little information they are having, and they are the best intelligent officers. Go abroad and see what they are doing. They appreciate them. Some of them, if they go on external something, they ask them to come back. because they know the value, that they know the training they have.
Otumba, I mean, there is a common saying that police is your friend, but that phrase, some Nigerians cannot relate because, for instance, you find some Nigerians being maltreated, being handled on the situation. Just like yesterday, I'm gonna bring you clips of the protests. People, went out to the street to protest. If you go to United States, people protested. I mean, every other country is practicing democracy. Appreciate protests. Protest is not that they are trying to take over government. They're not trying for destruction and all of that. But just like yesterday, they were demanding for restoration of our democracy back to Rivers State, issues of our Cyber Crime Act bill that was already at the National Assembly. So some person said, tear gassing protesters, armless protesters, peaceful protesters is not the way to go. Can our police begin to do better when it has to do with situations like this?
Yeah, you see, let's be realistic. There's a proverb in my language that there's no smoke without fire. Before a police takes this type of action, they have gotten some information. Most of these protestants, call them to dialogue, now they don't know what they want. They only push them by some people.
Do you feel that?
I can tell you today.
Who are going out to protest hunger, all of those things.
My brother, you see, I think this thing is beyond police, when we are talking of police, but our economic situation. The federal government is trying to do its best, as far as I'm concerned. I'm a good politician, I'm from the oppositions. But what I'm trying to say is that before you can accept somebody, you must be an adult. These people have 4 years. I, Bolaji Adigun, will have preferred them being assessed after 2 years. It's like a building that is destroyed. You have to remove the garbages before you start the foundation and before you start building. But you can't start commenting on foundation because you get it wrong. So I would have loved our politicians and I would love our president to see how we can come as unity and have one unifier for anything that is extension for 4 years. Like I just left a seminar in Jukwe when I said there's supposed to be room for communication, for assessment, for you to tell us, please, in every year, let us have 6 months feedback. What do you intend to give us when you come in? Like somebody asked that question, he said he's going to change Naira, Naira will come down, fuel will come down. So after 6 months, we need either himself or the Minister of Communication needs to come out to defend some of these things, because it's like somebody who wants to enter a house and you have been given the key and you said you want to break everything off. Supposing you get there and you miss stone that needs an excavator to carry the stone, you're going to have a problem with it. So what I'm trying to say that there's no any person or any angel that can build our country than we Nigerians, and we need to sacrifice and we need to build in. Grassroots are suffering, and what we need to do is that let us try to get to them and explain. Like I came in one time, I was saying that everything is supposed to have schedule from this month, January to February, from March to this, from this to this, from this to this. And if there's any problem that is causing you not to have that point, the best thing is to explain to yourself, to explain to the community, bring them out, and each governor should be able to explain, give accountability of what is having and what has it done. Because we are having the problem, we have been told that the fuel subsidy that was removed has been added to the value of what the IGR, the governors are doing. We should be able to ask them. So when we start from the chairman, we now go to the governor, then we come to the presidency. But most of us, we always accuse everything. If somebody pollutes, you say federal government, somebody has an accident, federal government. Are we be able to divide each person has they done their job? From the council, has he done his job? Because if a councilman is doing his job, the community will enjoy from it. The councilman will go to the local government chairman. The local government chairman will know what is happening within his community. The chairman now will go back to the governor. The governor will now have the impact of what is happening in Kubwa, what is happening in Jikwe, what is happening. Like now we're having different type of security problems. In Zuba is a different thing. In Jikwe is a different thing. In Pape is a different thing. So we need to have a table where these reports will come out. And what do we do about it? What is the solution? It is the same people that will give solution, because you know your territory better than I do. I know you know your own territory better than I do. So what we need to do, let us come to the right table. But if we sit down every time, we continue criticizing our country, I bet you we shall not get to
But Otumba, criticism is not wrong. People are saying that for democracy to work, people must engage the government, but they must question the government. They must criticize the policies of government. Even the opposition, even when the president, even when he was in opposition,
that is the area I was telling you about. That demonstration is not the major something. How many people have engaged their local government chairman? You can dialogue to your local government chairman.
A policy of subsidy removal was taken by the federal government.
Good.
So that is the greatest policy affecting everyone.
And we have been told where some of the money is going, and we have been seeing it. The IGR is increased. So from where is it coming up? So what are they doing with that money? Must we continue criticizing the federal government every time? Let the criticism comes down. Like I'm saying, an opposition leader. But what I'm trying to say that sometimes we only hook something from the top.
But do you know what some of these governors are saying? Some of these governors are saying that because of inflation, things has gone 3 times how they would have actually used.
What have they contributed?
So the increase of the
what have they contributed in their own states? There are a lot of things untapped. I'm a beneficiary of traveling a lot of places. I've gone to Akwa Ibom, I've gone to Maiduguri, there are a lot of things that are not tapped. I'm still saying it. Go from here to Gobe, you see a lot of mineral resources on the road. Can't the state government do something about that? In my state now, they brought in some agriculturists that, you know, to see what they can do about mango, what they can do about cashew. It's an improvement. Is it the federal government is good to know what is the best thing? We all know Makurdi is what's it called? Benue State is a full basket of food. What has the governor done on that? Sometimes you just see food wasting. Go to the town now. Anywhere you see cashew. Within the next 2 months now, you will hear the price has escalated. Can't we look for how to preserve these things? Tomatoes, can't we see how we can preserve it? Must we go to China to know how to provide? Then what are our ITT doing?
So the local government and the state are not looking.
They are not looking inwardly. All of us are looking at the.
So you feel they have the capacity to fight this hunger that is in the land and the hardship. That's your subscription.
Exactly. Now, if the government of Benue State expands its agriculture, mechanized agriculture, people will work, food will there. Go to Niger State. We have rice in abundance. We have our used land. Why can't they do a farming? Go to Egypt. You'll be amazed. It's not everything that is federal government. In the southwest, God has made this country that nothing you plant on this earth without even fertilizer to come out. I was amazed when I went to some places in the southwest. You see maize in the farm. No, they are growing. How do we save them for the unknown days? Yams are there, Boku. Now you see a tuber of yam about 5. They sold it for 16,000-20,000. I can bet you the next 3 months now you will see one yam is costing 20,000. The same thing Irish potato. It's gotten in Plateau State. Those days we used to buy a whole basket for 100 naira, 1,000 naira. But now it's costing 18,000 because there's no farming. Let each governor do what he can do to save his own facility. If 36 states can come up with mechanized this thing, it will help the federal government. Then the federal government can face other things. We are talking about roads now. I can testify that I've been seeing the roads improving. Federal capital has changed from where it used to be. We used to see UK, Dubai. We are now having Dubai in Nigeria, because there's nowhere you see that you are not penetrating. Kudos to them on that. But the question is, are we using the correct amount to do it? I hope we are not sabotaging. That is my own as an opposition leader. We're not sabotaging it, because a road construction that's supposed to cost 20 million or 30 million, you put 200,000 on it and you do it, is a sin, and you'll be accountable to God. What are we going to do with the wealth? Thank you so much.
Because one of the matters, away from the issues of hardship that also triggered some of these protests that we are seeing, is a state of emergency declaration in Rivers State. Some person are saying, can we have, inviting the military to take back government house and suspending governors, suspending a House of Assembly, is aware of taking away democracy in the state. That is a democratic sentence. Do you feel that that protest, or those persons who are holding on to that to be one of the reasons why they are out there protesting, are justifiable?
Personally, now I want to speak personally on that. And as an elder, I will give kudos to President Bola Tinubu. And the reason is that the grievances has been lingering for too long. And if it's allowed, destruction will come. And don't forget, some part of it is where we are getting our petrol and other, that's the resources of our minerals, of our source of fuel and coal. Now, I would have expected, because I've been following it, that's why I said personally, I've been following it. What are the elders doing? This is where elders failed. Because there's no person that came from heaven. They have parents, they know how they grow, they know their names, they know what they do. What stops? When we are talking politics, politics is a game of numbers. And sometimes when you speak politics, you can only rig where you are popular. And once anything happens to them, you look for a solution. And the solution is that I was expecting the elders to might have called Wike and called the governor. And because they say when two elephants fight, what happens? It is the grass that suffers it. And that's exactly what happened in that place. I was expecting that the elders, for the past 6-7 months, that this thing has been lingering. Because everybody is trying to show the supremacy, that I am more than this, I am more than that. Why it shouldn't come? The interest of the community, the interest of the state should have come first. Because my belief that the two of them, all of them, nobody is having the interest of his own states. Everybody is fighting for the highest role or what. But because when we talk about community, the poor ones are the ones suffering, and they can come up and say, look, we want this, what do we do this? Let us do this, let us do it. You will soon be this, you will soon be this. They know how to be settling it. But how it generates that it now became a talk of war. And if such a decision is not taken, it may not work. And the other area that you are saying, that is suspension of the governor. Well, I don't know what is. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what it says about that. But my own is that there should be peace in that country, and the only way there can be peace is by having somebody within the 6 months to do what he can do. Right. They can still become. But all I need to do is that the elders need to work on themselves.
But you understand police community relations. You understand what has happened in Edo State recently, where some vigilantes were going to Kano for a Salah celebration, but some vigilantes, who were also keeping the community safe, said these are kidnappers, these are people who are coming to attack us. So they took laws into their hands. Otumba, if you say that there's a need for us to have community policing, how well should state or local government be prepared in terms of having this kind of conversation? Because those vigilantes, as some said, is registered with the state government.
Well, it's really unfortunate what happened in Edo State. And the only thing I can say on that is it's really a misfortune. Because it's like you ask me to watch this house, and you give me a gun, you give me a cutlass, and somebody is pursuing a lizard on my fence, or maybe one of his things fell into my house, and I'm in the room, and I only heard somebody drop from the fence, boo. The first thing I would do is to ask that person down. I think there's a communication gap which we need to work on. when you said you are vigilantes or you are people that are tourists going back to the north, there's number of groups. And let me tell you, such things, I traveled to ordinary Niger here. I entered Niger on Thursday. I went back on Monday. I was fined on Monday to pay a certain fine because I refused to go and report myself to the police. I think what we need to do is that anytime such a thing, there's supposed to be a leader. You go to the nearest police station, and we are so person, report yourself. We are so person, moving from so person to so person. We need your protection or we need your clearance.
How about carry of firearms? They said they carried some local guns for.
That's what I'm saying now. We are not there.
With that kind of
we are not there, and that's why we're saying that. Some people, we even at the meeting of Life Camp last 2 weeks, we talked about that. Even in Nigeria, here in Abuja, you see somebody with tricycle is carrying a knife. You see a bicycle rider carrying a knife to do what? You said it's part of culture. It should not be allowed. So what I'm trying to say that all these things, they have shouted that all arms should be surrendered. Nobody has obeyed. You cannot carry a knife and say you are traveling somewhere. Ordinary blade could cause a harm because when you tear somebody at his vein, it's finished. So now somebody carrying arms, you are crossing a state without any permission, and you are not one, you are not two, you are not three. So what I'm trying to say that it has happened, but I am sure the federal government and my able Nigerian police will look for a solution whereby we need to educate, and that's why I'm saying that education it's very paramount for us to speak to the grassroots, for them to know the limitation. We say freedom of movement, but freedom of movement, you can't just move. Why do you have passport before you want to go to Ghana, before you go to UK? It's for you to know the do's and don'ts of that state. So if you are in one state, you should be able to know. If you go to Kano now, you can't just say you want to do anything anywhere. There must be a caution, and the same thing in other states, there must be caution. So all we need to do that, if there is going to be such movement, let them move to the nearest police station and report themselves. They can give them protection by moving them to a certain place, to a certain point, then deliver it to the next person, and they will get to where they're going.
Not taking laws into their hands.
They're not taking laws into their hands because we don't know what might have transpired. Ordinary Mebola here, we know what the scavengers, we normally have problem with them. Somebody will carry your thing, they say you know the next thing he carries, you see him with a dagger, and the dagger somebody's down. So what we need to do that, we need to educate the new, and that's what I'm saying, traditional rulers has a lot to do. All these traditional rulers, wherever police is not there, traditional rulers should take up the responsibility by educating us on our movement, on whatever we want to do.
All right. Atumba, before we go, what is your message for Nigerians, for police? Because you said it's good that we celebrate our men. Yes. It's good that we get involved for policing, intelligence gathering. What is your message to Nigerians watching this show tonight?
Well, thank you very much. All I can say is that we have to appreciate what we have. The Nigerian police are doing very well because I only pray, I don't pray, and I only pray, I don't pray that one day they should just say they want to strike for 1 day or 1 week. It is then we know their value. But with the little we have, they are doing their best because we can see the crime rate is reducing drastically. Except going to deceive ourselves, the crime rate, because with the inception of the IGP Kayode Egbetokun, he has been doing a lot of retraining discussions, grassroots discussion, open, and that very day is supposed to be a day for us to rehearse and to tell them where they've done wrongs, where we need to do come up, whatever, and we need to praise them wherever they do good. Let us praise them, not until when they do something we now start shouting that they have done this, they have done that. So my simple something to Nigeria is that we don't have any other home than this Nigeria, and we have said it. Nigeria is our country, and let us always remember the code of conduct. May God help us, and the Almighty God will be. I have no other country to go. My children have no other country to go. When you go, you are still going to come back.
These countries are the only country that we have.
It doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to me and you.
Everybody.
Thank you, Annie. Security is everybody's business. When you see something, say something so that something can be done on time to avoid a destructive issues. Thank you, and God bless.
Otumba Bolaji, another statement. Thanks so much for joining us on the show. Deputy Chief of Staff to National Chairman of Police Community Relations Committee. Thanks so much once again for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Nigeria.
All right, everyone, we'll be turning attention to Anambra. There are a lot of issues coming up. People's Democratic Party have just nominated Chief Jude as a flag bearer ahead of the November election. Just after this break, we'll be looking at that issue. I'll be joined by Public Affairs Analyst Charles Ojoku will be joining us to review all of these matters coming from Anambra State. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to global television.
Policies and political actors are in the news every day, all day. And on our part, we guide you through the noise and get you to the heart of the matter. Big Talk is your home of all-angle analysis of the top political stories. Airing weekdays on Global TV, 7 p.m. Big Talk, engaging and insightful. Everyone, the ruling All Progressive Grand Alliance, that is APGA, the All Progressive Congress, that is APC, and the Labour Party, had earlier over the weekend picked their candidate ahead of the November election. And just today, Chief Ezenwafo has just emerged as a flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party. A lot of a concern about the major combatant for the 2025 Anambra governorship election. Mr. Charles Ojoku, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Very quickly, the primary of our APC looked so transparent that people said it's not unlike our APC, whose primaries always ended with chaos. But this time, people are commending that there was a free and fair exercise on Saturday, while APGA renominated Soludo for the flag as a flag bearer. So, what is your review about all of that Saturday primaries election that held at Anambra? And of course, just looking at before we come up to a PDP that has just held their primary election today.
Good evening, viewers. Thank you for having me. Talking about Anambra governorship election coming up in November, it is very, very noteworthy to say that we now know who are the candidates. The process of selecting the candidates and producing the candidates, a lot of people would query that. They will have issues with that. Notably, so far, it's in Labour Party and APC. There's been some squabbles, especially for APC. I heard you said it looks okay. You know, illusions, perceptions, and optics varies from person to person. So some persons in APC might not agree that it looks clear, because what would make people in a party, frontline aspirants, to withdraw from a race that they have been galvanizing members seeking for support, consulting for months? Now, if you listen to them, people like Paul Chukwuma, people like Obiora Okonkwo, and these men, they cited irregularities in the delegate list. Now, what are the questions on the irregularities in the delegate list? They already have a statutory delegate list that was, produced following ward election for delegates. So every local government, every ward know who they elected as their delegates. However, on getting to the D-Day, things took a different turn. That's why you see Paul Chukwuma exiting, resigning, Dikora withdrawing from the race. People like Chukwuma Umoji, stepping out of the race. So that shows that there's been some level of tweaking in the delegate list that has caused some rancor in the party. So I wouldn't agree that that looks free and fair. But any which way, every party has internal mechanisms to resolve their differences. And I'm aware that they've set up some committee to help fix their issues. So we hope that they're going to get their house in order, because it's a fractured house in disarray, and nobody goes to an election with a divided team. That's for APC. For Labour Party, like I said, and I maintain, Labour Party is confused from national to down to even the ward level, because Julius Abure has become more like a political rascal in Labour Party. The current thing now is he conducted NEC yesterday or day before yesterday against the pronouncement of the Supreme Court that says the application brought by Nenadi Usman, who is the caretaker committee of Labour Party, is meritorious, meaning that what Nenadi Usman is asking, which the underlying basis there is that this guy is not the national chairman. He conducted an illegal convention that does not follow constitutional provisions of the party. So they have sanctioned him and adjudged him illegal. That's why Nenadi Usman is the caretaker committee. Now, looking at it, Julius Abure now, they are having issues because whoever emerged in Labour Party in Anambra State is George Moyalu. Now, there will be some legal strains on his emergence, because his emergence is hinged on Julius Abure because he came before the Supreme Court. So Labour Party has issues on that. PDP had their own today. I wouldn't take PDP serious, because PDP Anambra State, even at national, they have been suffering from cerebral malaria. So that's, somebody said, I can't leave a party that has malaria to go to one that has cancer. Is that malaria has turned to cerebral malaria, because from head down to the toe, PDP has had problem. So that cerebral malaria has helped PDP on that. They even forgot there's election in Anambra State. That's why they Jude Ezenwafo just they hurriedly made him to be the candidate. Let's see what they can do. And I still maintain Governor Soludo has no viable opposition. It's unfortunate, it's saddening, it's very painful that he has reloaded himself all through these 3 years without any credible opposition holding him accountable to governance issues, policies, and inactions, and some of the governance inactions that have caused loss of life, which he remembered later. So what is going to happen to those people that have lost their life because of indifference of governance? So, notwithstanding, people make excuses because he's done so much project, this and that. I understand he's done so much project, but let's also look at it. As the blocks are going up to create projects, some people's lives are going down 6 feet. So where would we create that balance? Notwithstanding, at the moment, he doesn't have any credible opposition, because all these opposition elements that are becoming candidates never engaged his governance all through the 3 years. They are just sort of what I call opportunistic candidates that would want to come in because it's election time. No. To contest an election, you have to start holding the person in power accountable from day one. That's when the contest starts. That was my quarrel with the man that came second in the last election, who moved to APC because he's not been doing the opposition work. And I learned that Val Ozibo has put in a bit of a dissenting statement about the conduct of the primary, which he is not in agreement with. So that's going to be another problem for APC again. So looking at all that, the opposition, I don't think they're going to scratch the back of Governor Soludo. Not that he's the alpha and omega in terms of performance, but there's no, in a place where you don't have any alternative, what do you do?
All right, Mr. Charles. I don't know if you had listened to the candidate of APC, Ukachiku. He said, I'm pledged to deliver the state to APC. Someone said, should we take that statement very lightly, because it may be citing advantage of being in the ruling party, recalling also the fact that APC said we are also coming for Anambra State. Do you feel that Soludo APGA, even the Labour and other parties should take the commitment or the pledge of APC very lightly ahead of this election?
I wouldn't take them serious. When Buhari was the president, Tony Woye was the APC candidate. The president came to campaign for him. They said they're going to take the state. They didn't take the state. When Anduba was a candidate, I think the president came to campaign for him. They said they're going to take the state. They didn't take the state. I am 90% sure that President Tinubu will not come to Anambra State to campaign. But if he comes, that's a kudos. That's a big, a big trick for APC. But the question is, I don't know the fear that Anambra has for APC. And I keep telling people, it's not about party, it's about individual. Look at individual, because we don't have party ideology in our politicking process. The ideology becomes the mind of who is in charge, who leads the government of that party in charge. So people decide that APC is no in Anambra State. I am indifferent. I am looking at the individual more than the party. So I don't know how he's going to walk that talk, taking the state, but whichever way is going to happen, so far it happens within the confines of the constitutional provision, without breaking any law, without manipulating anything, and trying to be a fair play election, both the INEC and the security agencies. That way, we will test their popularity and see.
That Mr. Okachukwu has been in the House of Reps. He said he has been a supporter or a godfather in Anambra State politics. So looking at that kind of figure, how do you differ from the issues of looking at personalities in this context, even without the party involved?
I don't think he's more of a personality than the person he's contesting with, which is Governor Soludo. Because Soludo is an old titan in the game. Remember, Governor Soludo ran for this same seat when Peter Obi was going for his second tenure. He learned the Rubicon and followed the process. Now he's governor. As an incumbent, who I don't see any open fracas with the current president. It's going to be difficult. And also, Anambra people have this, soul tie with APGA, which I beg to differ. But as it stands now, he is not fighting a neophyte in politics, because Soludo is not a neophyte, and he's got the state machinery in his pocket. Today, the support group members of late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah has collapsed their structure to him. And the only person that was really posing a great threat for Soludo was Ifeanyi Ubah. Even his members has collapsed structures for Soludo. So I don't understand how he is going to do it. No matter how big he is, he's not fighting somebody that is small. He's fighting Governor Soludo, who is already big before being a governor, and while being a governor, added to his previous impact in governance and polity and the politics of this nation.
Many thanks everyone for still staying with us. Of course, we are still looking at eyes very close to the controversies surrounding the recent primaries election that has been conducted ahead of the Anambra gubernatorial election, and we'll still have Mr. Charles Ojukwu. We still review all of this matter. I mean, let me take you through at the center of it all, what matters are what the people of Anambra really deserve, really, want at the time of re-electing governor. If in all, looking at all statistics you've laid out tonight, what do you really feel would be, one of the factors that will be shaping the number of people going out to vote for this election now that the parties has presented candidates ahead of the election?
The major factor here will be perception of Anambra to any party that is not APGA, more so APC. Secondly, the infrastructural strides of Governor Soludo, a lot of projects he's done, I think he's been able to advertise it so well that a lot of Anambra has now focused attention more on infrastructure, irrespective of how things have been for the past 3 years in terms of people taking cover, not able to go out of their house by 6 p.m., people doing their wedding ceremony outside Anambra State, people canceling their events, people losing their family members without seeing them up to today, people dying untimely, and people being buried when they are not supposed to be buried because they died untimely due to governance inaction. People have forgotten that. And people are now focused on the projects, which is fine. That's the second factor that will play. The third factor that will play also is the fact that, the people running against Governor Soludo are not bigger than him. That's a hard truth. They're not bigger than him politically. They're not bigger than him by national impact. They're not bigger than him in any ramification. So, if you put all these things together, it's going to be difficult to win him on a square, free, fair election. Unless Nigeria, anything goes, it plays out and untwists due process. Maybe. But the point is that those people that are candidates, when did they start engaging governance? When did they start ventilating how they're going to govern? When did they start telling us what are their alternative approach and manner of approach of policies put forward by Governor Soludo? We don't even know what they plan to do. The next thing now you see, they will bring manifesto contractors, provide a document, and they will flood it all over the place that these are the things they're going to do. But the question is, how much have they been around, actively, constantly engaging the governance? So that deficit of their presence for the past 3 years, engaging the governance policies, helping the incumbent to receive some level of engagement and feedback to sit up and do better, that deficit from them is also going to be a factor. Because the person that wants to vote someone else that is not Governor Soludo, what is he going to vote you for? You cannot stand something on nothing because you have not established anything for them to stand voting you on. Unless people are very hungry. Political jobbers, this is their season. So a lot of people are ready to collect money to be able to vote, galvanize, and mobilize. So that's how they did their primary. You pay people to vote for you. So as delegates, so it's also going to be a game of money. Even if it's a game of money, I don't think they can outspend Governor Soludo too.
All right. This Valentine Ozigbo, there has been a lot of reaction when he defected from Labour Party to APC. Now he has spoken just after losing out from the APC race. Do you feel that that political move was not well calculated in all extents of politics?
People say I've been very hard on Valentine Ozigbo. And these days, since all that happened with APC and all that, primaries, I try to be mild. I've been engaging him in public and private, trying to live up to the expectation of people on him being the leading opposition and leader of the opposition. But he was, deficient in that. I voiced it out. We did a Twitter session where I also voiced it out. He looks like somebody that is purely well-intentioned for the governance of the state. But the question is the terrain where he operates. He has not understood the thing needed for that terrain very well. Because if you want to fight these guys, you're not going to fight them with empty hand. At least if you have been engaging the governance for the past 3 years clearly and very consistently in a well-systemized focused, organized network of opposition. People will be looking at you as a credible alternative. Every party will be seeking to elect you, irrespective of how much delegates we are paid to vote someone else. I like the idea that Valentine did not pay anybody to vote him during the primary. So those 67 people that voted for him are the true Democrats that want good governance for this nation. They are the real ones that want the good of this. So you see the percentage of people that want things to change, people that voted him without even minding being paid. Why the thousands of people that voted the other people because of financial inducement, as they allege? Now, looking at it, he has complained about this whole thing. He has to be a party man, because that crossover to APC, he should expect the unexpected, because he is the late entrant to the party. And you are not going to expect as a late entrant for you to gain momentum beyond those that have been in the party before you. If you had cultivated where you were before, fighting and railroading your way through against all odds, irrespective of the injustice you complain, you fight the injustice. That's how governance is. If you become a governor and you have insecurity or you have troubles in your state, do you run? No, you stay in your state and fight it. So I had expected him to stay in the Labour Party to fight his way out, instead of leaving the party, going to a party where he is the last entrant, and now he's been treated this way. His appeal is valid, but the question is the people he is dealing with. How sincere are they? How democratic and how much good governance do they wish to have, and are they ready to work for? So that's the question. He's well-intentioned, but he's dealing with people that don't care. So I don't know how far he's going to go on this.
Events will continue to unfold, and of course we'll put our fingers very crossed watching all of these developments. But thanks so much, Mr. Charles Okeneojoko, Public Affairs Analyst, for joining us tonight and giving us an insight. Whatever may happen, we'll continue to monitor situations as it gets to unfold. Thanks so much once again.
Thank you very much for having me.
Of course, INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, had set 10th of April as the deadline of the election. Of course, the primaries, in which other parties, political parties, have been trying to meet up with the deadline of INEC, where of filing candidates ahead of the November gubernatorial election. A lot of reactions, of course, and controversies will be sparking out, but we'll do justice to having the main conversation and talking to the right persons, of course, as events unfold. That's a much we take tonight, and we'll leave it at that for now. We'll continue to monitor other development. My name is Edgar Michael. Do hope to join us again tomorrow for another edition of Big Talk. Bye-bye for now.